Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Davis versus Ruiz media conference call. Your host for today, Kelly Swanson, will now begin.
Thank you, operator. Thank everybody for joining this call. I'd just like to kick the call off and say I'd like to commend Premier Boxing Champions, Mayweather Promotions, TGB Promotions, and of course Showtime Championship Boxing and the network for saving this really special card that's going to take place Saturday, February 9th. Everybody's aware of the unfortunate injury to Abner Maris, who is going to fight Gervonta Davis. But fortunately for us, we found a great replacement in Hugo Ruiz. Well, they did, not we. So on that note, I did want to say congratulations for saving the show, and I'm going to turn it over to Stephen Espinoza to make opening comments. Stephen?
Thanks very much. Yeah, thanks very much, Kelly. By now, all of you are aware of the substitution. Abner was, I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that he was heartbroken at this development, at the injury. The Tank Davis fight was a fight that Abner asked for, that he pursued. It was a fight that's in his backyard. It was well on its way to breaking the attendance record, and it remains to be seen, whether that will happen or not. But certainly, had the card stayed together, it almost certainly would have broken the attendance record based on the trajectory of ticket sales at this point. The priority was, in fact, as Kelly mentioned, saving this card. We've got a whole host of various fighters who've been training very hard for this. They all want to remain active. Tank wants to remain active, so it was a priority to save this card, to find the best possible available opponent. There were a number of options pursued. A number of calls went out to a variety of different fighters. Not surprisingly, it wasn't easy to find someone who was willing to take on Gervonta Davis on 10 days' notice. Thankfully, we did get Hugo Ruiz interested, and he immediately accepted after he understood the situation. Hugo Ruiz obviously was on our January 19th pay-per-view on the Pacquiao undercard at 126. He will be moving up in weight further, and I realize that there has been some concern about that. The one thing that gave us comfort in approving this opponent was the physical size. Hugo Ruiz has a significant height advantage and reach advantage over Gervonta Davis. Yes, this will be his first fight above 126, but his body frame gave us some confidence that he would be able to be competitive in this fight. And in fact, with a reach advantage and a height advantage, he presents some problems to Tank Davis that Abner did not. So we're looking forward to a very competitive fight. We know Hugo is here. He was disappointed that he did not get the title shot that he expected to on the Pacquiao undercard. And in a certain way, there's karma is repaying him in that he gets a title shot here on February 9th. Kelly?
Thank you so much, Stephen. Okay, now I'm going to introduce Leonard Allaby, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, to make a brief comment just about the card in general. Leonard?
Thank you, Kelly. I'd like to thank everyone for joining today's call. As Stephen mentioned, with Hugo Ruiz being a last-minute replacement, his reach and height advantage, that does create somewhat of a problem, obviously, because anytime as a fighter, when there's a last-minute replacement, you haven't trained and prepared for this particular fighter. So Tank is going to have to obviously make some immediate adjustments for those things, for the height and reach advantage that Hugo brings. Again, Hugo is a proud Mexican warrior, and we expect a very, very entertaining and exciting fight for the fans.
Okay, thanks so much, Leonard, and we'll hear back from you in a minute. And now at this time, I'd like to introduce Tom Brown, president of TGB Promotions, to make the introductions for Hugo Ruiz. Tom?
Well, thank you, Kelly. And Kelly mentioned at the beginning about saving this and the promoters, but I also want to say thank you to Samson Boxing, who was the promoter of Hugo Ruiz. And, Samson's always got these guys that we've never heard of, and they step up, and, they're household names a few years later. And it's also great to be here at the former StubHub Center, the premier outdoor boxing venue in the United States, the Dignity Health Sports Park. And 3 out of the last 6 Ring Magazine and Boxing Writers Association Fights of the Year have all been at the Dignity Health Sports Park. And let me tell you, they weren't all Fight of the Year candidates going into the fight. Hold on. I know Hugo Ruiz very well. He fought 2 absolute wars for me back in 2015 and 2016 for the WBC title against Julio Ceja. And a couple of weeks ago, as Steven said, he didn't blink an eye when there was a last-minute opponent change. Ruiz is a more experienced guy. Experience matters, and that's what he'll need to rely on in this fight. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce the former world champion, Hugo Ruiz.
Okay, great. Hugo, if you want to make a comment, and Felix de Jesus is on the phone as our translator for Hugo Ruiz. Felix, if you want to...
Thank you, Kelly. Hugo, un placer tenerte aquí en esta conferencia de prensa. ¿Cómo estás y cómo estás preparado para la pelea?
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. La verdad me siento muy contento, muy emocionado. Igual también me siento muy agradecido con mi promotor Samson Lekowicz, que siempre me ha cumplido todo lo que ha prometido, y para muestra un botón me dijo que después de esta pelea siguiera mis entrenamientos, que podría haber una oportunidad, una gran sorpresa, y pocos días después me da esta gran noticia que voy por el título mundial de las 130 libras. Me siento muy contento y muy agradecido también con todo mi equipo, mi manager Fernando Domínguez, mi equipo de trabajo que es mi papá y mis 2 hermanos. Estoy muy emocionado, la verdad. Ya muero porque sea el 9 de febrero para estar arriba del ring.
Well, first of all, good afternoon to everybody. This is Hugo Ruiz, and very happy with his promoter, Samson Lekowicz, to get this fight. Samson told him, keep yourself ready. There might be something coming down the pipe, and that's how he got this fight to fight for the 130 pounds. He's very happy, training hard. He also wants to thank Fernando, his father, who's going to be in his corner. So this is a big opportunity for Hugo Ruiz for this fight that's taking place on February 9th, and he cannot wait for the February 9th date.
Great. Thank you so much for that opening comment. Very talkative fighter. We like that. So we're going to open it up for media Q&A at this point for Mr. Ruiz. Operator, go ahead and open it up, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And I'm waiting for callers to join the queue at this present time. Our first question is going to come from Carlos Torres from Fightful. Please go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. And Hugo, a couple of questions. First of all, these last 2 weeks have been very, very eventful for you. You go from fighting on the pay-per-view to having your original opponent miss weight, and now less than 2 weeks later, now you're fighting for a world title at a higher weight classes. Have you had time to sort of process what these last 2 weeks have gone for you?
La pregunta viene de Carlos Torres, Hugo, y pregunta cómo han sido estas 2 semanas de estar en lo que es una pelea de por pago hace 2 semanas y entonces ahora pelear por el título. ¿Cómo ha sido básicamente estas 2 semanas de tantos cambios en lo que es para ti y la gran oportunidad?
Bueno, para mí, yo tengo prácticamente 2 peleas preparándome para un rival de guardia zurda. En la pelea pasada me cambiaron de rival a última hora con un derecho, pero yo estaba listo para un zurdo, entonces estas 2 semanas seguí trabajando como para un zurdo. La verdad me siento muy bien, me siento muy fuerte. La pelea que hice hace 2 semanas fue una pelea tranquila, prácticamente fue como un entrenamiento para mí, así que ahora me siento muy fuerte y con muchas ganas de subir al ring.
Yeah, basically I was preparing to fight a southpaw before my opponent was changed in the pay-per-view bout. So I had that change, and I've been basically still training for a southpaw in the last 2 weeks. I've been very strong, feel very strong, very active. And that last fight was basically, it was more like a training than a real tough fight. So I'm ready. I rested, and I'm good to go.
Stephen Espinosa and Leonard Ellerby were talking about your height and your reach advantage. I mean, aside from that, obviously you're a much different fighter physically than Abner Mares. Aside from your size, what else do you think you have that makes you think you can beat Gervonta Davis on February 9?
Pregunta Carlos, segunda pregunta es, Steven Espinosa, al igual que Leonard Ellerby, han dicho que tú le llevas alcance y altura a Gervonta Davis. ¿Qué más se puede decir que tú le llevas de ventaja o qué piensa Hugo te puede dar la victoria el 9 de febrero?
Bueno, el hambre traigo muchas ganas, mucha hambre de triunfo, muchas ganas de ser campeón mundial. De la mano de Samson me llevó a ser campeón mundial a las 118, luego de las 122. Estuve a punto de cumplir el sueño en la 126 y ahora estoy en la 130. Me siento muy fuerte, con buen tamaño para esa división, así que no dudo que este sábado logre ser campeón en la 130.
I'm very hungry. I want to, of course, be a champion in the 130. Those are the other attributes that I have. Besides what you stated, the height advantage that I have, I feel very comfortable at 130. Samson has taken me to be a champion at 118, 122. I'm close to 126 also. So this is a big challenge for me. I understand that. But besides the height, it's the hunger that I have to be champion at 130.
Okay, next question, please, operator.
Our next question is going to come from Steve Kim from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Hi, guys. How you doing? My question for Hugo is this. If he fought on January 19th, what day did he get back to the gym after that fight?
Hugo, si peleaste, claro, el 19 de enero, ¿cuándo regresaste al gimnasio? ¿Cuándo comenzaste a entrenar otra vez?
Yo estuve el 20 de enero ya en mi ciudad de Los Mochis. Yo el día martes volví al gimnasio. El día martes ya estaba en mis entrenamientos.
I was back training that Tuesday after the fight. I was back in the gym.
Mm-hmm. Also, given the fact that Gervonta was not a fighter in his weight class or someone he was expecting to fight, how familiar is he with Davis?
Ya que no estaba en tu peso, Hugo, Gervonta Davis, ¿qué familiarizado tú estás con el estilo de Gervonta? ¿Qué tal conoces a Gervonta Davis?
Bueno, me ha tocado verlo pelear. Es un peleador que le gusta el contragolpe, que le gusta el knockout. Creo que por ahí se va a dar una gran pelea porque yo desde el primer round voy a salir a noquear como estoy acostumbrado a hacerlo. No voy a cambiar mi estrategia. Yo salgo por él, salgo a buscar la pelea, salgo a buscar el knockout desde el primer round.
I've seen him, of course, a few times fighting, and I know he's a counter puncher. He looks for the knockout just like me. So this could be very electric starting early because, as you well know, guys, I'm also a guy that looks for the knockout just from the first round and immediately. So that's what I've seen, and more counter punching and more of my style. It should be exciting.
And my final question to Hugo, is he worried at all that Davis might have the natural advantage in strength and size?
¿Te preocupa que Gervonta Davis, Hugo, tenga la ventaja del tamaño y el peso en esta división?
La verdad no, me siento muy bien en este peso. Si a mí me hubieran llamado para pelear en las 126 libras el sábado 9, la verdad no estaría dispuesto porque no las marcaría. Entonces, para este sábado voy a marcar las 130 sin ningún problema para luego tener un buen rebote de peso.
No, not really. I feel very comfortable at this weight. If I was 126, if I was fighting for 126 this Saturday coming up, the 9th of February, I wouldn't have made it because I'm already going to make 130. That's how strong I feel at this weight. So that does not pose a problem for me against Gervonta Davis.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Our next question is going to come from Keith Idec from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Yes, Hugo, you mentioned earlier that you were back in the gym Tuesday after the fight. Oftentimes, even guys who go back to the gym quickly take a week off or so. Why did you go back so quickly?
Mencionaste, Hugo, que regresaste al gimnasio ese martes después de la pelea. Usualmente los boxeadores toman por lo menos una semana libre. ¿Por qué decidiste de inmediato ir a entrenar otra vez?
Bueno, Samson me dijo que me metiera al gimnasio, que podía haber una oportunidad pronto. Entonces, yo la verdad no quise desaprovechar toda la condición física que traía en la preparación para mi pelea pasada. Hice una excelente preparación, no hubo desgaste físico en la pelea, entonces quise aprovechar toda esa condición para seguir en mis entrenamientos. Yo siempre estoy entrenando, nunca dejo de entrenar, cuando mucho descanso 5 días, una semana, y esta vez como no hubo desgaste de pelea, Guevara no presentó un combate de choque, entonces quise volver rápido al gimnasio.
Yeah, I usually take maximum 5 days off a week, like you stated, after a fight. But there was really, with this fight with Guevara, there was really not that much physical abuse, from my part. I didn't receive those many hard hits. So I started training right away. My promoter, Samson, told me, hey, there might be, stay active. There might be something coming off the pipe. And that's what happened. So I'm glad that I started that Tuesday before or after the fight.
So, in other words, if the fight on the Pacquiao undercard would have been a little more taxing, this wouldn't have been possible for you?
Sí, si hubiese sido mucho más físico la pelea, Hugo, la pelea en el por pago por debajo del Pacquiao, donde peleaste frente a Guevara, si hubiese sido una pelea más física, entonces no estuviera disponible.
No entendí lo último.
Si la pelea con Guevara hubiese sido más físico, te hubiera dado mucho más golpe, entonces tal vez no hubiera estado disponible para esta pelea, ahora que se presenta.
Si hubiera sido una pelea mucho más difícil, lo más probable es que no hubiera tomado esta pelea, pero como fue una pelea demasiado tranquila, no me exigió mucho Guevara, entonces no hubo desgaste, por eso yo volví rápido al gimnasio y me siento muy bien. Yo traigo la preparación de que hice para mi pelea pasada, entonces prácticamente para esta pelea voy a llegar en excelentes condiciones.
Yeah, no, that's correct. If the fight would have been more physical, draining, it would have been a toe-to-toe battle where I would have received a lot of punches and stuff. Then maybe I would have not taken this fight. But I, continued my training leading up to the fight to Guevara, and I just continued it because again, there was I felt physically well after the fight. There was no major damages.
I just have one last question for Hugo. Hugo, you couldn't be more active going into this fight, having just fought a couple of weeks ago. Gervonta Davis has not fought in 9.5 months. How much of a factor do you feel maybe rust will be for him and your, an advantage you might have in activity being helpful in the fight?
Hugo, habrá ventaja ya que tú peleaste hace unas semanas y en el caso de Gervonta Davis no ha peleado en casi 10 meses, 9 y medio no ha peleado Gervonta. O sea, ¿es posible que esto sea una ventaja para ti en la pelea, que todavía esté un poquito oxidado Gervonta Davis?
Sí, puede ser una ventaja porque cuando dejas mucho tiempo sin pelear, normalmente pierdes el ritmo de pelea. Yo peleé en agosto, peleé en noviembre y peleé en enero. Traigo mucho ritmo, entonces me voy a sentir muy cómodo arriba del ring, muy completo y con una excelente condición.
Yes, definitely. I think so. That rust might show. I've been very active. I fought in August, November, and just a couple of weeks ago. And you lose a lot of rhythm when you don't fight for a while. So that might definitely be an advantage that I have going into this fight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, we have one more question for Hugo, and then we're going to change it over to Gervonta Davis and Calvin Ford. So, operator, go ahead with the last question for Hugo, please.
Yes, our last question is going to come from Cameron Buford from the LA News Observer. Please go ahead.
Hi, Hugo. My question is,
Buenas, Hugo.
Had you had your eyes on fighting Davis previously? And with this, with you jumping into this fight with such time to prepare, can you use your boxing style that you currently have to defeat Davis, or do you feel you need to adopt another style and how quickly can you adopt that style?
En lo que se refiere a Gervonta Davis, tú, antes de que se te dio esta oportunidad, tú antes de eso, tú pensabas pelear en un futuro con un Gervonta Davis en las 130 libras, y si el estilo de boxeo que tienes, si piensas usar ese mismo o adoptar uno diferente para pelear a Davis.
Bueno, yo siempre tuve en mente llegar a pelear en las 130 libras. Hoy está por cumplirse, me siento muy contento por eso y más que nada que estoy disputando un título del mundo. Mi estilo no va a cambiar mucho, voy a buscar la pelea, como lo dije antes, voy a salir a buscar el knockout. Tengo 33 knockouts en 39 victorias, me ha funcionado 33 veces, entonces no pienso cambiar mi estilo, voy por él, voy a buscar el knockout, me siento fuerte en este peso, entonces mi estilo no va a cambiar.
No, my style will definitely not change. That's been my style. Maybe not as soon as this fight is going on, but I definitely was looking at being champion at 130. This is a great opportunity that's been given to me to fight this upcoming week. My style will not change. I will look for the knockout against Gervonta Davis. If you see my 39 wins, 33 have come via the knockout. So I'm going to maintain my style. That's the way I fight.
Okay. I think that's it. Okay. Hugo, thank you so much. I have to tell you, once your boxing career is over, I think you could be a great commentator. Wonderful.
Que puedes ser un buen comentarista, Hugo, después que termine tu carrera de boxeo.
Muchas gracias por la entrevista y aquí estamos para lo que se les ofrezca.
Thank you for the interview, and I'm here for whatever you need me for.
Thank you so much, Hugo. Okay, and thank you, Felix. Thank you so much for joining us for that part
You're
of the
welcome,
call.
Kelly.
Okay. All right, great. Now we're going to turn it back over to Leonard Ellerby, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, to make the formal introduction for Gervonta Davis and his trainer, Calvin Ford. Leonard?
Thank you, Kelly. This next gentleman, he's really more than a coach. His call of duty, it really goes far beyond the ring. And because of his actions, he's really gained and earned respect from many different people, including myself, especially the young kids that are out there, all the teens, and a lot of fighters. He's really helped through the streets of Baltimore. He's done a phenomenal job in playing a vital role in Gervonta's entire career. He sets a really positive example for all the youth that are in that particular area, the D.C. area. There are not enough accolades to go around to say about Calvin. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Calvin Ford, trainer of Gervonta Davis.
Hey, how you doing? Calvin Ford.
Calvin, would you like to make a comment before Gervonta just on how training camp is going and what you expect for the fight? Just an opening quick statement, please.
Well, training camp's been going great. We made a transition down here. Everything is going fine and whatnot. We was looking forward to fighting Aaron Mad. We was really looking forward for that, but that happens in fight. I hope he get better so we actually get another chance at him. But right now we just concerned on this new opponent we have in front of us. I think he's a little bit stronger, and I know watching some of this, he's going to come to put on a good show for this upcoming fight with Gervonta Davis.
Great. Thank you so much. Leonard?
Okay, sure. Next, he became the youngest reigning American champion in 2017, obviously fighting on Showtime after knocking out Jose Brazaza at just 22 years old. He became also the youngest two-time world champion last April when he knocked out Jesus Cuellar in round 3. So without further ado, he's earned the reputation in sports and entertainment as being that next pay-per-view star. But without further ado, the WBA super featherweight champion of the world, Gervonta Tank Davis.
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing great. Gervonta, you want to say something before we open it up for questions, or you want to go straight to the questions?
I just want to say I'm excited for February 9th. I'm looking forward to, my new opponent. sorry to the fans that, purchased tickets, thinking that I was fighting Abner. My main focus was fighting Abner. So, February night, I'm just trying to, give him a action-packed fight, no matter who I fight. Put on a great performance for the fans, and so they can enjoy the fight and go home for something to talk about.
Okay, great. Yes, people are definitely talking about you, young man. So, without operator, let's open it up for question and answer for
Ladies
Gervonta.
and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star one on your telephone keypad. And our first question is going to come from Jake Donovan from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. Gervonta, I know it's been emotional for you. I mean, obviously, Adam's in a lot of, Adam's probably feeling worse, with the injury. But for you, I mean, you haven't fought in so long, and then, you get the switch in the opponents. Just like, what was your mindset when you first heard that Abner got injured?
I was actually sleep, and I got a call from Al, and he was letting me know that Abner pulled out. So at first I thought he was, like lying, but then I had to think like if I was in his shoes and things like that, and if that's really the case, then his health means more than a fight. So hopefully he'll be okay and we get another shot at fighting him. Sometimes in 2019, but my main focus is on February the 9th, so I'm focused on my new opponent.
Okay, very cool. And then I saw that you had tweeted out that you believe that that Hugo is actually a stronger opponent than Abner. People, obviously, fans are always going to think everyone's trolling, but I want to give you the opportunity to actually explain, why you truly believe that. I have my own reasons for it, but would like to hear your thoughts.
I believe that he's stronger because look at his knockout ratio. He's 39-4 with 33 knockouts. That have to play a big part. And I didn't even know he was coming up from 122. I didn't know that. I just knew that they gave me a new opponent. I didn't know who he was. Just I don't know. I'm just excited for February 9th.
Okay. Well, obviously, I know you're excited. How relieved are you? Because I know, obviously, you don't want to go through another year like you had last year. We only fought once, and you're just kind of waiting on your next fight. So it seems like there's been a big maturity process with you as well. Like, you could just tell it, you seem more excited about 2019. So just, like, how relieved are you knowing that, everything you have set out for 2019 is going to stay on course?
Yeah, I'm just, I'm actually in a, better space knowing that I have, I never had dates lined up like this, so as me being in the main event, and I have my dates, I'm just super excited. This camp I really haven't been down, so I've been, happy, knowing that I have, a big future and 3 big fights lined up for me. So I'm just excited, I'm just soaking it all in. Making sure I train hard so every fight, I bring, excitement to the sport, so I'm in a great space right now.
All right, very cool. Thanks so much, Tank. I appreciate it. Looking forward to watching next week.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Steve Kim from ESPN. Please go ahead.
Hi, guys. Gervonta, quick question. What do you think is the main difference between Hugo Ruiz and Abner Mares stylistically, if there is any?
I believe that Hugo, he more aggressive than Abner, I want to say, or he's more I think he had more pop on his punches. So I just watched like a little clip of him. I haven't studied him like that. I just watched a little clip once I knew who I was fighting, just to be aware of what I have in front of me.
Gervonta, I knew you were out there at the Pacquiao-Broner fight doing various things. I think you were on the Showtime broadcast. Did you actually get a chance to watch Hugo at all when you were there?
I was doing the Showtime interview right before. I had to do it right after. So my main focus the Showtime interview, so I haven't watched. I didn't watch his fight.
Mm-hmm. Gervonta, have you heard the criticism that you replaced one guy moving up in weight for another guy moving up in weight? Have you heard that? How would you respond to that?
I mean, this is not my fault. You know, my mind was focused on, Abner, not to throw any other fighter under the bus, but, Lomachenko, he fought someone that was, 2 weight classes under him. And not only one time, he fought another person that was smaller than him, Rigondeaux, and I forget the other names, but I'm just, I'm excited, just to put on a great show. No matter who I'm in there with, it's all about the performance that Gervonta Davis put on, and I'm here to put on a great performance.
Yeah, and I think, Gervonta, you're speaking of Miguel Mariaga as one of those other guys moving up in weight to face Lomachenko. Leonard, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You there? Leonard, quick question. I know that the ticket sales were going really well. Given that, once this development set off a couple of days ago, was it in your mind and belief we will absolutely salvage this show and find somebody for Gervonta Davis?
Most definitely. That was definitely the mindset. Obviously, he's our prideful champion. He's been off for it'll be 10 months when he steps in the ring, and he needed to fight. So Hugo was the best available guy that we could find. He's in shape. He's ready. He's a proud Mexican warrior, and he's going to put on a very entertaining fight for all the fans that are in attendance and all the fans that are watching on Showtime.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a question at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. Again, if you have any questions at this time, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. And our next question is going to come from Carlos Toro from Fightful. Please go ahead.
Thank you. First question for Gervonta and Calvin. You're more than welcome to chime in. When the fight was announced, when the change in opponent was first announced, obviously Hugo is a much taller, much bigger opponent than Abner Mares physically. So has there been any changes in preparation or training camp by the time you guys found out, or since it was too close to fight day, have you guys been pretty much sticking to the same routine?
No, we've been sticking to the same routine. We ain't changed nothing. Actually, Tank had various different sparring partners in there because I'm still a student of the game too, and I always say you never know what a fighter's going to change up stuff. If you look at when Triple G fought Danny, not Jacob. Yeah, when he fought him, he went southpaw. So you have to prepare yourself for anything that's going to happen that night. So we look at different looks. It's just like you prepare for anything else. Most coaches and trainers going to prepare for any situation that's going to come, so you'll be prepared for it.
Gervonta, do you have anything more to add to that?
Yeah. So this camp I actually sparred different type of guys. I sparred someone that's coming after me. His name Malik, so he was much taller with a longer reach. So I thank him for, the work and things like that, because now I needed it, so I'm excited. Nothing didn't change. We're the type that we adapt to whatever was in front of us. So I'm just excited to see what he brings February 9th.
Obviously, this is going to be your first fight in what is almost going to be 10 months. Are you now excited not just to fight in the main event on Showtime, but also get to finally get out there and start fighting again? You're still very young. You're just reaching the physical peak of prime of your career. Is there not necessarily nerves, but is there a lot more excitement for this fight, considering that it's been a long time since you last fought?
Yeah, I'm just excited. This is my first main event in the U.S., so like I said, I'm in a great space right now. I know that 2019 is very big for me, and I'm just, I'm a sponge soaking it all in. I don't feel like I should be nervous or having a big plate, when you have good food on your plate. So I'm ready.
Thank you, Gervonta and Calvin, for answering questions. Best of luck to you, Gervonta, on February 9th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Cameron Buford from the LA News Observer. Please go ahead.
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking time to answer our question today. This question is for Gervonta and Calvin, both of you guys. Understanding you guys are prepared for anything, so you're kind of prepared for this fight. How will you take advantage of the fighter with a taller fighter with a longer reach? How do you plan to take advantage of this guy?
We're not going to try to take advantage. We're just going to see, what type of party he's going to bring. Like, again, Tank, he's in a good spirit. I mean, this camp been real. I mean, he's been great. He's been great this camp, coming in doing what we asked him to do. If you look at his Instagram, we've been posting how he's coming along. I mean, everything's been on point, So when we look at the situation of opponent change, you understand what I'm saying? We want to roll with him. The main thing we want to put on a good performance, because at the end of the day, that's what y'all going to talk about, especially after the long layoff. You understand? So we've been preparing for the long layoff. We want to make him look sharper and like he never was off the ring. So, that's going to show, the next or not looking past this opponent right here to let him know, like, man, he's the truth. And that's what we're trying to show, that, Tank is the truth. Gervonta is the truth.
Okay. In your words, what do you consider a good performance?
Excuse me, say that again?
I said, in either of your words, what do you consider a good performance?
I mean, I am looking at, like I always say, if you watch any of my interviews, it's what the opponent brings to Tank, because y'all still ain't seen the best of Tank. And sometimes, looking at him spawn when certain people do certain things to him, I mean, it gets real exciting there. So I'm just waiting to see what Tank do. Tank like Michael Jordan to me in the ring. He put on a show and it makes you watch what he's going to do next. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for a great performance from him.
Thanks, Chief. And how about you, Tank? What do you consider a good performance on the night?
Just, go in there, do what I do best. Just capitalize off of that mistake and make them pay for it all night. That's all. Show them that I'm not just, the best in my weight class. I'm probably like one of the best to fight on TV, if not the best.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a couple more for you, Gervonta, and we'll let you go. Go ahead, operator.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jake Donovan from theboxingscene.com. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Actually, I had a question for Leonard and for Tank both. I realize what I'm going to ask. There's only so much you could say, in public on a conference call, but I just want to know, like, what conversation you guys had just to make sure that, like, there was no repeat of last year. Because I know every year is well intended. You want to have a big year, but, like, what assurances did you get from each other that, everything was just going to go smooth this year?
I'll take that. It's his actions. He knows firsthand that 2018 a lot of things happened and a lot of things people don't know about, and those are personal things. And again, he's a young man. He made a few mistakes and he stepped up. He owned those mistakes and he's moved on. He wants to have a phenomenal year, and everything's in place for him to do that. We think the world of Gervonta Davis. We think that he's going to eventually be the biggest star in the sport. But right now, he's the most exciting fighter in the entire sport. So that's what we're looking forward to him just getting back. That's why it was Floyd was very adamant to me when Abner fell out. He called me, and it was really the wee hours of the morning. He was like, I understand this happened, but under no circumstance, he said, Tank has to fight. And we're all on the same page with that. He's young. He needs to be active. He wants to be out there showcasing his skills to show you why that he is what he is. And again, come next Saturday night, I think we can expect another sensational performance from Tank.
Great. Thank you very much, Leonard. I really appreciate that explanation.
Okay, one more
And,
question.
yes. And the last question is coming from Richard Diasio from Boxing XM. Please go ahead.
Hey, Leonard, this is another follow-up question to you. If you can hear me okay. What was that discussion like in reaching out to other fighters and getting a fight lined up for Davis? Was Ruiz on that short list immediately, or did you initially reach out to other fighters who ultimately declined?
Yes, there was a short list, but I want to give props to Tom Brown. With Tom being a Hall of Fame matchmaker and an excellent promoter, again with having the resources and having worked with a lot of these fighters, being in the position, it made things that much easier. So there was a few options, a few guys we looked at, but this was the best guy who was available. We know style-wise that he brings excitement. He's a very aggressive fighter with a bunch of knockouts, and he's coming to bring the fight for the fans. He's a proud Mexican warrior, and we know that it's going to be a very entertaining fight. His style and Tank's style will mesh very well, and it's going to be a very, very entertaining fight.
And then lastly, my question is for Davis. How have you managed all of these distractions leading up to the fight? I'm sure ultimately it's not what you wanted to experience coming off a layoff, having to deal with an opponent change last minute. So how are you maintaining your focus?
My focus, going well. I'm not tripping off of, changing opponents and things like that. Because when I actually first signed with, Al Heyman, they used to change my opponents a lot. A lot of fighters used to pull out and things like that. And also, I came from the amateurs. Big tournaments, you used to fight 5 times a week, and it was different opponents then. So I'm not really tripping off the opponent change. All I'm here to do is, put on a good performance. And February 9th, we're looking forward to it.
Okay, great. I think that's it. Gervonta, we're all looking forward to it, and we appreciate how great of a boxing star you are for the sport and the sports world in particular. So congratulations on your careers to date, and we look forward to seeing you fight on Saturday night. And that'll do it for today. The Fight Week schedule will be going out shortly, and you'll have all the information on what's happening next week. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week at the fights. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. I'll disconnect and have a great day.